Hola chicos, hoy vamos a hablar sobre la acentuación de palabras. Tenemos solamente dos reglas. Hay solamente dos reglas en la situación de la acentuación de palabras. Regla 1 y regla 2. Solamente dos reglas. Tienen que memorizar las dos reglas. Regla número 1. Si la palabra termina en la letra N, S, A, E, I, O, U, el golpe de voz o el énfasis está en la penúltima sílaba. So if a word ends in the letter N, S, A, E, I, O, U, the emphasis where you're supposed to put the majority of the emphasis that pushed in the sound is going to be in the penultimate syllable. The penultimate syllable is the syllable before last. So these are the name of the syllables. Última, penúltima, antepenúltima, y antepenúltima. So it's the last, penult, before penult, before penult. And if there were more syllables, there would be named with the before. So you're always going to count the syllables from right to left. Última, penúltima, antepenúltima, antepenúltima. So that's where we're supposed to have that emphasis. So let's check it out. So the first thing you're going to look is, vamos a mirar el final. Ese, does it end in S? Okay, so this pertains to rule number 1. Jueves. Jueves. So we don't say jueves. 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 No, we say jueves. And then this one ends in the letter jueves. Jueves, right? So the emphasis is in the penultimate syllable. Tenemos la palabra partido. You're going to look at the end, and the end ends in O, and yep, it applies right here. See the O right here? That means that it applies it here. So tenemos partido, partido, partido. And that sounds correct. The emphasis is right here in the penultimate syllable. Partido, partido. We don't say partido. Jugaron el partido. And we don't say jugaron el partido. We say partido. So that's where the emphasis is. This ends in N. So yes, let's see if it follows the rules. The golpe de voz, the sound, the emphasis is supposed to be here. Origen, origen, origen. And that sounds correct. Now, if you wanted to put the emphasis at the end, let's see what it sounds. Origen, 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 or origen, origen. Origen sounds correct. So the emphasis is right here. Again, this ends in A. You have to look at the last syllable. And guess what? There's an A here. That means this follows rule number 1. The emphasis is supposed to be in the penultimate syllable right here. So let's read it as if it has the emphasis here. Pareja, pareja, pareja. And that is correct. If we put the emphasis in the end, it's going to sound really weird. Check this out. Pareja. ¿Tienes una pareja? ¿Tienes una pareja? No, you say, tienes una pareja. Pareja. Right? And then this one is rojo. It has the O. That means it follows rule number 1. Let's see if the emphasis is where it's supposed to be, which is in the penultimate syllable. Rojo. 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 So when you say little red, you say rojo. You do not say rojo. Oh, okay. El color rojo. El color rojo. No. So the emphasis is not at the end. It's actually in the right place, so it follows the rules. Rojo. Then tenemos puerta. Ooh, now you realize why we were doing the diphthong, triptongs, and hiatos, right? Because this stays together. We do not separate it. And this is a diphthongo. So we have 2 syllables here. We first look to see what it ends in. Yep, it follows rule number 1 because it ends in that A. And according to rule number 1, the emphasis is supposed to be in a penult. So let's see, syllable. Puerta, puerta, la puerta. That sounds correct. Let's see what would it sound like if we put the emphasis at the end. La puerta. Abre la puerta. Abre la puerta. Abre la puerta. That doesn't sound right. But puerta sounds correct. So the emphasis is in that penult. And that the last one, it ends in E. So it's following rule number 1. Let's put the emphasis where it's supposed to be, in the middle, before. So decimos tomate, tomate, tomate. And yeah, that sounds correct. But let's see what it would sound like if we put the emphasis at the end. Tomate. Hey, dame el tomate. Tomate. Nope, that does not sound right. What if we put the emphasis here? Tomate. Tomate. Dame el tomate. Nope. It sounds best here. Tomate. Tomate. That sounds a little bit longer and then you enunciate it more. So this follows the rules. Nobody takes accents because everybody follows the rules. Rule number 2, si la palabra termina en consonante que no sea NS, el golpe de voz o énfasis está en la última sílaba. So if the word ends in a consonant that's not NOS, remember because this one is NS for vowels. So obviously a vowel is not a consonant. So anything that's not NS, every consonant that's not NS, you're going to have the emphasis in the last syllable. So let's see if this is correct. Last syllable. Color. Color. Yep, that sounds correct. It's in the last syllable. Color. If we say color, color, color. Nope. Color. What about this word? Caridad. 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 Sounds correct. The emphasis at the end. Oh, look at this long one. Despertador. 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 The emphasis at the end. Editor. Editor at the end. And dental. Dental. We don't say dental. We say dental. Emphasis at the end. Since these all follow the rule, you look at the last letters, a consonant, 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 then all these words will follow rule number 2, right? And they're all right. They also have the sound, the golpe de voz, or the emphasis in the last syllable. Las palabras que no siguen las reglas se les castiga. The words that don't follow these 2 rules, you have to punish them. So basically, you're always going to look at the last letter and determine which rules are going to follow. Rule number 1, rule number 2. And if they don't follow the rule, you punish them. Let's see some examples right here. So this ends in a vowel. So is it rule number 1 or rule number 2? Rule number 1. And it's supposed to be in a penult, right? So without reading this, you know that the emphasis is supposed to be here. So let's read it the way it's supposed to. Último. Último. Is that the way it sounds? Último. Okay, tú eres el último. Nope. That does not sound right. So let's try to put it in the end. See if it sounds right. Último. 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 That doesn't sound right either. So let's try it over here. Último. 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 That sounds correct. So it's supposed to have the emphasis and T, but it doesn't. So it breaks the rule. So then this needs an accent. This would be, oops, último. Yep, that's what the accent is. Let's see if this follows a rule. It ends in an L. So is it rule number 1 or rule number 2? Consonants or rule number 2? It's supposed to have a golpe de voz in the last syllable, último. So the last, it's supposed to have the golpe de voz here. So let's see if it works. Animal. 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 That sounds right. This is elongated. It has more emphasis. Animal. It follows the rule. Does it need an accent? No. It doesn't need an accent because it followed the rule. It doesn't need any punishment. Let's go to the next one. This ends in an O, which is rule number 1, because that's the one that has A-I-O-U, and you're supposed to have the golpe de voz in the penultimate syllable. So let's read it like it has the emphasis over there. Do we say sábado? Sábado. Hey, ¿qué vas a hacer el sábado? ¿Sí? ¿Vas a ir al sábado? Okay, so that doesn't sound right. So let's try it at the end. Sábado. Hey, hoy es lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado. That doesn't sound right either. So let's put in this, see if it's there. Sábado. Voy el sábado. Voy el sábado. And that sounds correct. But according to rule number 1, which is the one that has this vowel, the emphasis is supposed to be in a penultimate syllable. So it's not in a penultimate syllable. It's not here. It's here instead. It's right here. Therefore, it breaks the rule. Then we have to put an accent. So it's sábado. Yay. Okay. Okay, let's get this little thing away. Little light. Oh, the light, it's not going away. Okay, so we'll keep with the light. Then we have café. It ends in the letter E. Rule number 1 and rule number 2. Rule number 1, you have that E right there. So this one says that the golpe de voz is going to be in the penultimate syllable. So let's read it with such an emphasis. This is the penultimate syllable. Do we say café? Okay, ¿quieres café? ¿Quieres café? ¿Quieres café? ¿Café? Sí, ¿quieres café? Doesn't that sound weird? So it's not following the rule. Let's see what it sounds like if we put it over here. Café. Café. Now that sounds like coffee. So it doesn't follow the rule. We're going to put the handy dandy acento. But let's not forget about this. Café. Café. So this is where the sound is. Café. It's not café. It's café. Let's see the word. Música ends in the letter A. Let's go ahead and look at the letter A. Yep, is rule number 1. It's supposed to be in the penultimate syllable. Well, this is the penultimate syllable. Let's see if it sounds correct. Música. 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 That doesn't sound right. Let's try it over here. So we already know it doesn't follow rules. It's going to take an accent. Let's see where it is. Música. 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 That doesn't sound right either. Let's try it here. Música. Música. See, that's elongated. Música. That's what it sounds correct. So it does not follow the rule. Therefore, this has to be an accent. Música. Oh, these two are very similar. Let's see. If it ends in an S, N is rule number 1. N is right here. That means it's supposed to end in the penultimate syllable. So let's put it there. Okay, let's see if it ends here. Examen. Examen. That sounds correct. Because if we put it over here, this is what it sounds. Examen. Oh, ¿tomaste el examen? Examen? No. Examen. See how that's long and higher? Examen. ¿Tomaste el examen? Yeah, that's correct. No accent. Let's take a look at this. Oh, it has the same rule because it ends in S. Right? So it's supposed to be in the penultimate syllable. So let's go put in the penultimate syllable right here. Right? And let's see how that sounds. Exámenes. ¿Tomaste los exámenes? Los exámenes. 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 That does not sound right. But what if we put it over here? Exámenes. 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 Tomaron los exámenes. It's longer. It's perfect. It's not following the rule. It takes an acento. Oh, that's the wrong one. Nope, that's the wrong one. Nope. Okay, the 4th is the charm. How do you get the accent here? Yay, got it. Exámenes. Okay, so let me go ahead and do something here. So this bubble, the bubble's not coming out, so we'll do it. So anyway, so the rules are these two, which you have to memorize. And if they don't follow the rule, you punish them with an accent. You're always going to read them like as if they follow the rule. And if it doesn't sound right, that's when you start putting the emphasis in different parts of the syllable. So the words that end, las palabras que tienen golpe de voz en la última sílaba, they're called agudas. So all the words that have their emphasis at the end are called agudas. All the words que tienen golpe de voz en la penúltima, all the words that have that emphasis in the penultimate syllable, they're called llanas o breves. There's another word for them. Llanas, breves, or there's another word for that. I have to think about that. And then all the words that have the emphasis in the before penultimate syllable, or before the last syllable, they're called esdrújulas. And if you have any more back here, they're called sobresdrújulas, sobresdrújulas. So basically you have the última sílaba, penúltima, antepenúltima, antepenúltima. If the emphasis is in the last, it's going to be called agudas. Here, llanas o breves. Here, esdrújulas. Here, sobresdrújulas. And if there's any more, it's be sobresdrújulas. Let's go ahead and practice and see how much you can recall.